What everybody? Welcome to the fifth week of What the F Sports. I'm here with the Lazyboy. We've got a
Hey,
new co-host, DeAndre Presley, former NFL veteran. We got our producer on the day, and of course, there's no Bo. Where is
where's
Bo?
Bo?
No, Bo's got 17 kids, so there's someone's always got a dental appointment. I don't know how many teeth these children have, but someone always has a dental appointment. Welcome, DeAndre. Welcome to the show. Glad that
Hey,
you're on here. How are you doing this morning?
man, I'm good, man. I appreciate y'all for having me on here where I get to talk about an area that I'm familiar with. So I appreciate y'all, man.
That's right. We're not doing any crypto talk, no day trading, no veganism, none of that. We're not talking about today. What you got for us this week, producer?
We got another week down, another week of a lot of madness in the NFL, starting with the no touchdowns versus the Colts and Broncos. What was up with that?
My God, that game. You know, when people say things like, I'd rather watch paint dry on the wall, or I'd rather have surgery, I would have rather had open heart surgery without anesthesia than watching that game again.
Well, look, I'm not gonna lie. The game before that, before we decided to make this one the worst, we played the Broncos, and it was 11-10. That was pretty. That was bad. But this one was pretty bad as well. So
DeAndre, what's the feeling like? Because you played offense, you were a receiver, you played some defense in your time too. But when you play for 4 hours and don't score a touchdown, how does that feel?
I mean, it's one of those things like it sucked, but like in the league, dude, like it's hard. It's hard, dude. Like
Yeah, it is hard.
it's hard to score, but and it's even harder to win. So like when you get those games where like it's just a defensive game, it's just like we need something. And at the end of the day, a win is a win. So it don't matter, like it don't matter whether you win by 30 points or you win by 1 point. Like at the end of the day, all that matters is just winning. Because we can correct everything else. So yeah.
You're exactly right, but I feel like sometimes we use bad offense and we use the scapegoat of, oh, the defense has played really well. You know, terrible offensive play calling, terrible decisions, messy offenses doesn't always equal the defenses played great. Now we know there's, of course, great defenses could make you look terrible. We've seen the Baltimore Ravens, we saw the Legion of Boom, the 85 Bears, the Killer Bees Dolphins. You can name all the Pittsburgh Steelers have been notorious for this, where they make your offense look bad. But we also have those times where offenses are really bad.
but that's Russell Wilson, man. He made Thriller, man. I mean, Russell Wilson's a good, an established quarterback that can make plays. Like he out of nothing. Like he was before Mahomes came along. He was that guy that was on the run and doing things in the fly
He
like
was,
that.
man.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like Russell Wilson was the guy, man.
Don't just casually throw names around, lazy boy.
And that's hard for me to say. I'm a Niners fan, so I saw him do that to us many years. Like, I mean, I just didn't expect him to play this way going to Denver.
I saw him do the same exact things. I say this every week. Ever since the Legion of Boom one by one disappeared, I saw the Russell Wilson that I saw. I saw when the Legion of Boom was there, he had to be Russell where he didn't turn over the ball. And every now and then, let's make a big play to David Baldwin. Let's make a big play to Tyler Lockett. And it's the greatness of Russell Wilson. And once the Legion of Boom was gone, he became just like everybody else. And now he's in Denver with this amazing defense and all of these weapons and Jerry Jeudy, and he looks like any other quarterback.
I don't think it's him. I still don't think it's him. I'm not convinced. Give him more say in the offense. Maybe he can make something happen. That's what I think. I think he can do that.
Bo's not here, so I got to do the stupid sports takes because Bo is not here. Give him more. I gave $250 million. That's what I gave him.
Money's money, but like the reins and running the offense, through.
If I offer you $2 more at McDonald's, you're gonna do a better job. That's not my.
Hey, $2 more. I'm off the floor.
That's not my take, y'all. That's Bo's take. That's not my take, y'all. Go ahead, John.
I want to say, like what Lazy Boy said, like you got to give him a little bit more a little bit more control. Like, what game was it where they ran the clock out to
First,
kick the field goal?
first week.
Yeah.
It's like, come on now. Like, this is a veteran. This is a Super Bowl champion quarterback. Like,
Exactly.
who has
Yeah,
made.
well,
Yeah, I mean he's got a track record to prove that like he's a winner. Like,
Yeah.
come on, if it's me, if I'm Russell, I'd have been a little pissed after week 1.
no, he
Like,
doesn't get pissed. He gets corporate. Well, he also threw another one of those 4th and 1 or 3 and 1 yard picks again. Richard Sherman had fun with that in post game.
Man, I'm just saying, man. He Pete probably gave him a lot of freelance to go, but like this guy, he's just trying to get into a system. He's got paid a lot, so I'm sure he's gonna be like the corporate guy, like you just said. Like he's just trying to do what the coaches tell him. So now like it's like, okay, hey, what would you do? Russ, what would you do? Could you help us with this? Get in the offensive.
Here's my take, and this is not a Bo take. We throw names around, right? Like you just said, Pat Mahomes. We do this thing where we put quarterbacks in the same stratosphere as other quarterbacks, but don't expect the same things. If we're gonna say Russell Wilson, the Hall of Famer, once he won 1 Super Bowl up there with Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, and we start putting him in the names of all, I've seen those guys go to new teams, and it doesn't take them 5 weeks to get it. But we're putting them all in the same category. And it's not like Russell Wilson went to the what's a terrible team? The Jets. It's not like Peyton Manning went to the Jets. It's not like Tom Brady. I get it. They went to Tampa Bay. He went to Denver. But he didn't go to a team that's inept. I'm not putting it all on Russell Wilson. I'm just saying we put all these people in the same breath, but then we give them different excuses.
Both of those teams had loaded defenses. Like Peyton went to a loaded
this
defense.
one.
Tom Brady went to a loaded defense. Like he's got a decent defense, but he don't have no veterans like Von Miller. He don't have Von Miller.
Jason, I'm gonna need you. So the producer can't be the only one do homework. I'm gonna need you next week to apologize when you go and look at the Denver's defensive roster. We're gonna move on to the next segment. Producer, you gonna look at that roster and you come back and say, "I'm sorry."
It's a roster, but it's not a Super Bowl winning roster.
Yeah. They just hold teams to 10 points a game. Yeah. It's terrible defense. Just defense.
How about the comeback for the Giants in London? You think they're legit this time?
Oh man, I was they're legit.
They are 4-1 right now.
I don't know, man.
DeAndre, so you don't know this
yet, man.
But the Lazyboy is married to a Giants fan, so he has to talk Giants in here.
I was actually watching the game. I mean, Saquon he played well. I mean, the Giants won. I, as a husband that wants to keep a happy wife, I have to say the Giants played a decent game. Daniel Jones got them down the field to do what they needed to do, and the defense stepped up in the fourth quarter to stop Aaron Rodgers from scoring. So there's my take.
Here's a quarterback that doesn't have a receiver to throw to, and we ain't gonna give him a bunch of excuses. But anywho, there's no Jerry Jeudy on the Giants. I don't know, DeAndre. Everybody, because it's Aaron Rodgers, so you're gonna get it. But so many people have the Packers in their top 4, top 5. This is not a top 5 team to me. It's just not a top 5 team. If they did not have Aaron Rodgers, they'd be 0-5 right now.
I would agree. It just to me, it just goes to show you how much like one player can make a difference.
Exactly. Like
how one can make a difference. Not having, yeah.
I really don't think. Like I told Keoni in the first like episode, I was like, Aaron Rodgers didn't even go to camp to he just felt like he didn't need that. But I think as you being a former football player, like, don't you need that chemistry during the? Yeah, like I felt like when he was like, who needs that? Who needs those few games to get ready. You got to be
I
ready.
feel like that's a fan's response because most people who skip training camp are always people who have been in the league 10, 12, 14 years. Even sometimes the quarterbacks do it. If you live that life of having to go to training camp every year, when you start to get 10, 11, 12 years, you start thinking the same too. Like,
But do you think he worked out or did any film with his guys that he's going to take 17 games with? Like, I don't think he even did that. So like,
Man,
due diligence is a word I'm thinking.
so like every quarterback is different, man. Like when I played with Carolina, like Cam took every rep. Cam didn't miss a day of training camp. But the stuff that people don't know is like when we were doing OTAs, like Cam was always working with receivers, like young guys, old veterans, all of us. Every season, he would take us to like an off-site place, and we would just spend time running routes. Right. Then you get into mini camp. He's taking the majority of the reps, and at that time we had Derek Anderson as our backup, who could get the job done. He could get the job done. But then, but Cam took every rep in training camp. Then when I was in Miami, we had Ryan Tannehill, who he took the majority of the first team reps, and then in San Diego, when Phillip Rivers was there, he took a lot of reps. So it's like every quarterback is different. Every quarterback is different, dude.
yeah, because I don't think there's 100% answer. We've seen quarterbacks that can take every single rep, go to every meeting, and they still stink. And we see quarterbacks that take half of training camp off and they go win the Super Bowl. So
Yeah.
it really just depends. There's no 100% answer to that. You can't just do what every quarterback that's won a Super Bowl has done something different. And one player does make a difference, but I always say we underestimate coaching. We underestimate coaching. Think about this, coaching and the other guys on the roster. I always say this, Tom Brady in his New England tenure, they won 11 games with Matt Castle. They went 4-5-0 with Jacoby Brissett and darn it, Jimmy Garoppolo. That's a 16-5 record. Peyton Manning leaves the Colts. They win one game.
But that just goes to show you like how important, like in this league, a backup quarterback is.
Oh yeah.
Like you have to have a good quarterback, a backup quarterback that can come in, and if your starter gets hurt, this guy can take over. Tom Brady's the perfect example of being a number 2 guy. Your number 1 guy goes down, and then this guy takes over for like the next 20 years. So
I don't think people focus on that anymore like they used to back in the day. Like Don Shula had one losing season, I think, his entire career because he always made sure he had backup. He went to 5 Super Bowls with 6 different quarterbacks. That math doesn't even make sense. He rode 6 different quarterbacks to Super Bowls. He didn't win them all, but he got there. And now you just talked about quarterbacks taking all the reps. Quarterbacks are so scared to lose their job now. They take all the reps. The backup gets no reps with first team.
True. No, that is true. For like in Carolina, Derek Anderson was running more of the scout team and defensive emphasis stuff. But again, Cam was doing all of the first team offense stuff. So it's like they're getting reps, but it's like not as many reps as you would want them to be. It's almost like as a backup, you have to prepare on your own in some ways. That's what it kind of seems like, because it's like we have to have our starter up to speed on everything that's going on.
Preparing on your own is one thing, but getting in there live and trying to throw to guys with various speed, this can be hard. Hey, look, I can practice. For instance, I'm not saying that like you're a bum, DeAndre, but let's say I'm the backup quarterback and you're a receiver. We're on second team. I'm practicing throwing the ball to you. Quarterback gets hurt. Now I have to adjust trying to throw it to Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. That's a different kind of speed.
I
Throw me
mean,
off a little bit.
hey, Jimmy G's doing it right now. That dude didn't practice with his team at all. Like he was on a separate field practicing.
Yeah, but
And
he's
then
thrown to those guys before.
Yeah, like
he's just gotta. It comes. You just gotta stay ready. You gotta.
No.
Doing the work.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's not just about staying ready. He's thrown to Kerry Kittles before. He's thrown to Debo Samuels before. It's not like he hadn't thrown to them in 4 years. He was just thrown to them last season.
But it might be a new scheme. Might be a new scheme this year. And it was worked around Trey Lance. And like he practiced the whole time. Like he was working out. Like he didn't know he had a job coming up. Like he was just working out, just staying ready. And then once his name was called, like he just fit right in there. Like like he's been with us for a few years. But
I totally agree with you on the part of being ready and staying ready. Where I disagree with you is I'm talking about a quarterback that goes in throwing to people that he doesn't normally throw to. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, Aaron was throwing to probably like people on the island or something, like coconuts or something. He wasn't really doing too much of nothing. So I don't even think he even like called anybody. Like it just if you got that C on your jersey, be a captain sometime. Just like
you got to know when to cut us off. We will get long-winded on these segments and do a whole show on 2 topics. It's Bailey's first day, you guys. Bailey, our new producer. I'm so excited for him to be here. So he's trying to learn when to tell us to shut up and move on. So you just interrupt us and say, guys, next segment or whatever.
Hey.
You got the reins.
All right. Well, what about the Lions? Do we think Dan Campbell was really the answer to all this? I thought he was, but I don't know.
Well,
it's getting bad at 1-4.
I know DeAndre's gonna. I'm hoping I've known him long enough to where he agrees with me. I'm not gonna go in on Dan Campbell. It's one game. We were dancing about how the Lions should technically be above 500. Whether you want to say 3-2, 4-1, whatever. Their offense have been lighting it up. They had one dreadful game. I'm not gonna jump overboard right now on Dan Campbell.
How do you get shut out versus the Patriots, though? I mean,
it happens. DeAndre will tell you this. He's the one that played in the NFL, not me. Any team can beat any team on any given Sunday. That's not just a cliche. And we've seen teams get shut out before. And I'm like, how did you get shut out against? But it happens. You just like any other job, you can have a bad day at work. That's what people don't. You can have a bad day at work.
And sometimes Lions just do Lions things. That's all. That's what it comes to me. That's what they had like you said, they could have a good record, but Lions just do Lions things. I mean,
do we think Deshaun Watson is gonna take the Browns to the playoffs once he comes back? I mean, they look good right now.
I'm going to do what I do every week when we bring up Deshaun Watson. I say, next question.
I think real quick, I think Jacoby stays in there.
Think so.
Plays a little bit more until it gets till emergency break glass, bring him in.
He's not going to stay in there.
They pay him all that money. He's going to play.
Yeah,
you're right. They probably want these seats filled too. So
and it's not just all that money. No disrespect to Jacoby Brissett, but that's a big leap from Jacoby Brissett and Deshaun Watson. It's a big leap.
Big leap. Deshaun just adds another dynamic with his legs, man. That Jacoby don't. In my personal opinion, this is just me, don't kick me off the show, but I just think Jacoby's he's a good backup quarterback.
He is.
He's a really good backup quarterback.
His play setup reminds me of Byron Leftwich, man. He's like real methodical and like no urgency to his gameplay. Like it's just he really doesn't have on the move thinking. Like he's a pocket. He stays in that pocket.
Well,
He's gonna
he had his chance to shine. He was the New England starter for what was it, a year and a half or 2 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So
if you ask anybody that played for New England, they'll tell you that system is just a difficult system to thrive in. Like,
I know, but I just the when Tom Brady got hurt and when he was suspended, they went 15-5. That tells me that's a really. This is not taking away from Tom Brady for everybody coming to comments saying I'm hating on Tom Brady. That's a really good structure and it worked.
well, the thing I've heard people say that have played for Bill Belichick is that like he does not he works with their strengths. He's not asking you to do something that you're not good at.
Mhm.
Like we look at freaking Wes Welker, who is he's a good slot receiver, but like compared to the slot receivers we see today, man, he get left in the dust.
Why is
But
this?
he was really good at those intermediate routes. That's what he was good at. And so the Patriots are really good at what you are good at, what your strengths are, and they focus on you doing that. And so they will even when Cam, you saw when Cam was there, like he and Tom Brady are two completely different quarterbacks. You saw way more zone read, style plays specifically tailored to what Cam does well, and they were doing good until the whole COVID thing, until COVID.
Hey, Bill Belichick went to the Super Bowl with 3 Bailey Kings. Okay, he had Danny Amendola, Julian Edelman, and Russ Walker. He said, "I'm going to take 3 short
You
white
have to come at
guys,
me like that,
and
man.
I'm going to destroy you all with these 3 white guys." That's what he
He
did.
said you got a slot look about you. You got a slot receiver look about
They just do their job. That's all they
you.
do.
Crazy, bro.
Their
Listen,
job, and that's really
hey,
what it is, man. They just do
no,
their job.
I
And they
say it
do
all the time. It's very funny. I said one day when I used to live in Miami, we used to play flag football, and we go and just like with uh, basketball, when you go to the court, sometimes we're just picking teams, right? I'll be captain, pick teams, and a lot of times, look, I don't mean to be racial, but it's funny. I'd be picking all these short 30-year-old white guys, and my friend would pick, Trey and Dre, 6'3" and we'd beat them like 35-7. Because all his team would do when he said hike was run go routes. They all just run go routes. Well, I'm over there, 5-yard pass, 7-yard pass, 3-yard touchdown. And then they start arguing. Man, and that's what the Patriots did. They basically stole my flag football concept and won.
You get those little yards and they add up real quick.
add up,
Oh man.
add up.
But
What
Hey,
about
Bailey,
the Texans and
Bailey,
Jags?
he's like, man, you a Cole Beasley looking type brother, man. You a Danny
I'll go out there.
Amendola looking kind of guy, man.
I'll go out there and get
That's
it done.
messed up, man. That's messed up.
hey. Bailey's better than Cole Beasley. Settle down.
What about the Texans and Jags? They look like the same Texans and Jags
Well,
they've been for a long time.
the Jaguars did what the Lions did. They just totally flipped on their head. Again, I'm not going to judge the one game. I like to take because sports takes are they've been figured out once they have one bad day of work. I'm going to go with the 3 games over the 1. I think I'm going to see way more of what I saw from the Jags in the first 4 weeks than what I saw Sunday. That's just my thought.
I think Jacksonville's going to surprise people close towards the end of the year. They're going to finally gel, get it together, and
Finally.
I think they can get this conference. I think they can if they Peterson gets them boys on the same page and going, man. I think they can make this conference.
When Bo's not here, do me and you just get dumb? You just said you think they're going to gel and get on the right page. They've been on the right page for 4 weeks already.
But like they're coming up short. So once I'm saying,
One time. Well, like one time they had that.
Texans though, Texans. Really?
I don't know, not the Texans.
DeAndre,
Yeah.
can you,
Texans.
I'll lean more towards Jacksonville before I will the the Texans.
Yeah. Like the Texans look like, yeah, come on, man. Like,
right. They had a bad day. Again, another team with one bad day of work. It's not like they've been on a steady decline since their week one win.
what dominant is there a standout star on the Texans right now that you could think of?
I ain't focusing on the Texans.
But like they beat them though. They beat them. So like,
okay, DeAndre, can you please explain to him? Because apparently he just started watching football yesterday. That any team, there's been only one undefeated team throughout the whole process in league history. The Patriots did it, and then they lost the Super Bowl. So you can lose to anybody. Number one.
Any given week you can
one
be
bad
beat.
week. One bad week.
And sometimes it's just like, damn, they just had our number that day. Like nothing didn't work. Like we had a good game plan, and they came in and they had a better game plan. But on any week, any team can be beaten.
We'll talk about this, DeAndre, because I know sometimes a team can be worse record-wise, but I think people underestimate how your team matches up against that team. How that give an example. Miami for a lot of years with Marino were good. It was just the Bills were a terrible matchup. They were just a terrible matchup. We didn't mix well. And sometimes, I'm not saying that's what happened in this game, but doesn't that also play a part? Sometimes you just don't match up against another team well.
Yeah, that does play a part in it. I mean, let's look at the Rams, for example. Like they won the Super Bowl last year.
We own them.
They won the Super Bowl last year, and it's like now it's like what has happened? I mean, for the most part, correct me if I'm wrong, their defense is pretty much still the same, right?
Yeah,
come on, Miller.
I don't think it's their
minus
Miller.
But like
they only had for half a year, so I think it's their offense that has Cooper Kupp is still there, but there's no Robert Woods, there's no OBJ. Andrew Whitworth has retired. That offensive line is looking terrible. That's kind of my point with matchups. Every team they've played with a good defensive lineman or a blitz scheme, they've been torched. If they've played a team that doesn't have an outstanding defensive line and a good blitz scheme, they've won.
But I just feel like it's one of those things that like what the Rams have put on film now is that they cannot handle blitzes. They can't. If you
and that's just old Stafford being old Stafford, bro.
He does look like the Matt Stafford.
Yeah.
Of old. He does.
They can't
pressure. He just starts throwing the ball up.
Okay.
Now
our disease is spreading to DeAndre now. You know what he looks like? DeAndre, didn't you play quarterback a little bit in your early days? So did I. You should know this. He looks like a quarterback who's taking a 3-step drop and someone's touching him on the second step. That's what he looks like.
That's what I'm saying. But that's my point is that they've put on film that they cannot handle pressure. Right. So every week for the rest of the season, teams are going to be putting a whole bunch of pressure on Matt Stafford in their offense until they start to pick it up or until what's the coach name? Sean McVay. Until he changes the scheme. One of two things are going to happen. He's got to change his scheme to fit what his players can do, or they're just going to keep getting worked. And then,
my comment was directed towards Lazyboy, not you. Lazyboy's like, he looks like the Mets. No, he looks like a quarterback who's being harassed. All of them have we all know they all have a thing that you can do if you can get it done. We know if you put pressure on Tom Brady up the middle, it's not going to be an easy day. We know if you do certain things against Russell Wilson, which is just play defense these days, it'll work. But every quarterback has, if you do certain things, if you contain them this way, but you have to have the offensive scheme to make that not happen. And right now, the Rams have no answer for simple blitz schemes or complex blitz schemes. No answer.
The answer is this. I always heard this as a quarterback, like the way that the way to beat the blitz is to get the ball out of your hands quickly.
Right.
And so they have you got Cooper Kupp, you got the Robinson kid. They got weapons. You just got to get the ball into their hands quickly and allow them to make plays. Like you got to break a tackle or two, bro. But
not taking nothing away from Dallas, man. I mean, they played. Look who they. I mean, Michael Parsons is a monster, bro. Like he got back. He makes it difficult to get decision making going because he's back there. He's back there in the huddle sometimes. Like
everybody's saying he looking like Lawrence Taylor.
I didn't say all that.
No, you didn't say it, but a lot of experts are saying. I mean, that's again, certain names are thrown around at certain times. I haven't heard anybody say any linebacker looks like Lawrence Taylor since Lawrence Taylor. This is
he's a hybrid guy, man. He's different. He's not. Yeah, he's quick, bro. I mean, like gets back there and like causes like havoc.
Well, you know what? You know who he looks like? Remember when when Mac first came in and you couldn't block him because he was so fast when he was on the Raiders?
Yeah.
And he would just get by you. You say hike and he's in the backfield. He's like,
yeah, right.
I don't have the ball yet.
Yeah.
Calm down.
I was saying, man, that dude's in the huddle, man. Like he's in the huddle. That's like
I literally thought one day when you took a hike out of shotgun, Khalil Mack was gonna get to the ball and run it in the end zone.
He was a bad man.
Yeah.
Did y'all see the roughing the passer against Brady?
Oh my God,
boy!
DeAndre, have you seen that play?
I'm not, but I'm.
That was actually look it on YouTube right now because I want to see your live reaction to watching that roughing the passer call.
He Michael Jordan that call till it happened.
No, I mean like he still had the ball in his hand. How can you? And it wasn't a low tackle. Like what are we talking about?
He wrapped him up. He did.
It wasn't even close to looking.
Wait, hold on, Johnny. Let me know when you got the play up.
I'm trying to find this thing.
Should have had my producer send it to you. My bad.
Wait, was it the play when he got sacked and got spun around?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they called roughing the pass on that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
It was going to be fourth down, right, producer?
That's terrible.
Yeah.
And I'm a Tampa Bay fan. Like, hear me. I grew up in Tampa, always been a Tampa Bay Bucks fan, but that is atrocious.
At the end of the game, Brady was like, "I didn't throw the flag. I didn't do it. I had nothing to do with it."
He was definitely the refs here, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He Michael Jordan that call he was like complaining most of the time, saying he's getting
that's terrible.
He's getting harassed, and getting beat up.
Andre, I'm gonna send it to you right now because I literally want to see.
That's terrible. Like that to me, that's just a routine sack.
It is.
That's a routine sack. There was nothing aggressive about it. And honestly, when you're taught tackling, you're taught to wrap and roll.
Yeah.
That is what you're taught as a defensive player tackling anybody, to wrap and roll. He wrapped and rolled. He didn't throw him down hard.
Here's the thing too. Even though I still didn't think it should have been called, let's say Tom Brady got rid of the ball and then he took one more step, grabbed him and swung him around. We saw Tua Tagovailoa get slammed on his head 2 weeks in a row, no roughing the passer. We saw last night Lamar Jackson almost got clotheslined, no roughing the passer. But if you cradle Tom Brady like a baby and carry him to the ground, you might get a roughing the passer.
Dude, it's just one of those things.
And nobody mentioned him kicking the guy after the play.
Yeah,
nobody mentioned that. Like Tom Brady did kick it there.
I just saw that. It's just one of those things, man. The sport. I went back and I watched like how quarterbacks used to get hit back when Lawrence Taylor was playing. And like, oh my gosh, like they were getting legit.
Hey, Lawrence Taylor he ended a career, bro.
Think about when Deacon Jones was playing. They were legit clotheslining people, like legit clotheslining quarterbacks. And it's like the league is soft, if you ask me.
Well, that's why all these records are going to get broken because quarterbacks can play longer. If Marino and Kelly didn't get hit, even though a guy like Marino was hard to hit because he got rid of the ball so quick, but he still got hit because you could take two more steps and clobber him, right? So these guys couldn't play 20 years. It's not just the avocado ice cream. It's the quarterback now has such a clean jersey. I've seen games where quarterbacks who don't run finish a game and it looks like you just washed your jersey.
You think it'll change once Brady leaves the league?
No.
Well, no, because it's the money, and I get it. You've got to adjust rules when certain things happen. Like you used to be able to tackle the quarterback low. When Joe Theismann's leg got snapped in half, we stopped diving at quarterback's knees. I get it. You've got a lot of owners who pay a lot of money, spend a lot of money. So it's like if I'm going to pay a quarterback $250 million, I need him to play 17 games or have the most chance to play 17 games, not get hurt by week 3. And as we can call the league soft, but here's the thing. Nobody wants to see. I can't remember what year it is. It was one of those weird years where like 9 starting quarterbacks got hurt. And we saw a lot of bad football. We saw a lot of backup quarterbacking bad football. So nobody wants to see that either.
It just makes it difficult as a defensive player, man. It just makes it difficult when I have a clean shot at sacking the quarterback.
And I got to let up.
I have to let up. And it's not that I'm trying to hurt this guy, but it's like I don't know where the hell to tackle this dude because I'm afraid that if I tackle him, it's going to be a roughing the passer. Gosh, there was a game yesterday where a quarterback got hit, and it was a perfect sack. Face mask on the chest. He wrapped him, and as soon as he made contact, he let him go. Quarterback flops.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Quarterback flops, and they get a roughing the passer penalty, and it's just like, what can I do? What can I do?
It is very hard. I don't envy anybody who tries to make their bones playing defense, whether it's especially cornerbacks. I've seen receivers basically beating up the cornerback on the way down the field, and if you take 2 fingers and grab his jersey, here comes a flag for you. Yeah. It's just like a running back and a receiver can grab you by the face mask and stiff arm you to the ground, but if you tap their helmet, you are in trouble. It's so hard to be a defensive player. I know Bailey's got to get some Major League Baseball in here. What are we talking about with that, Bailey?
Yeah, so we got the matchups: Phillies versus Braves, Padres versus Dodgers, Mariners, Astros, and Cleveland versus Yankees. Who do we?
I'm gonna tell you. Oh wait, go ahead.
Who do we got there?
You know what? I'm gonna tell you what I'm happy about. I love when teams have had such. I don't like that they've had such a drought or so many years being bad, but to see them be able to make because I like fan base to have a reward, right? And I like that the Mariners are back in the playoffs. I love it, and I hope they beat the Astros because nobody really likes the Astros anymore because we all know why.
I mean, all cheating scandal aside, they're still a top team.
Yeah, they got Dusty Baker, so I might cheer for him. But I like the Mariners story. I can't cheer anything Cleveland, or as I call it, Middle Earth. So I can't cheer anything Cleveland. So I'm forced to cheer for the damn Yankees. And then, of course, always want the Dodgers to win. And I grew up a Braves fan until we got our own baseball team. So,
well, yeah, that's where I chime in. Of course, the Braves, man. I mean, I'm a little nervous because the Phillies had our number the last series they swept us in Philly. So I'm hoping, pitching staff, we're gonna get in there and hopefully bring another championship home. I really think we can win this, man. The Braves look real good.
You always think all the teams you cheer for can win this.
Hey, I never said the Niners will get there. I'm as a fan, I want them to get there, but it's tough, man. Like you got a lot of good teams in the NFL. So
you think Aaron Judge is going to leave after this year?
If they don't open up that checkbook, he is.
Yes, I don't think he's staying. I think he wants to go.
This is the difference between baseball and football. You can play a player all that money if the owner wants to spend more money and fill the team. You can. The problem that I'm running to, not to bring the NFL back in here, and DeAndre, you can speak on this, is I'm not seeing a lot of quarterbacks getting these giant paydays and going to Super Bowls. It's like you lose so much so much. And this is not me telling don't pay the bid. I don't want to count anyone's coins. Get your money. But good Lord, look how these teams start losing player after player after player once the QB gets all the money.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you want? You want $300 million, or you want somebody to block for you?
Right.
Seriously.
I think Brady's done well with that and taking the pay cuts and just
No,
making
we
sure his
keep
team is
doing
set.
that, but everybody keeps saying that like he's taking $20 million off the top.
He
You
could
know,
definitely get a lot more.
he's taking 3 and 5 millions, these little home time discounts. It's not like he said, hey, I'm owed 20 million, give me 5. That wasn't what he was doing, but we have the narrative of he took the pay cuts. But he took enough that people's contracts, because other people on New England, it wasn't just Brady, other people will restructure their contract as well.
Yeah.
But you got to believe in that coach, you got to believe in that system, and you will take less money if you think you have a higher chance of winning a Super Bowl. If you're going to play on a team and we're going to get to the first round of the playoffs and that's it, you're going to take the money.
You could take a pay. You could take a pay cut when you spokesman of Uggs, man. You could take that. You're gonna sell some Uggs, so that's gonna be a little check coming in too. So you ain't got to worry about the big pay cut. You're gonna get some money.
What if the Yankees win it this year? Do you think Judge will stay after that or no?
Hold on, because DeAndre was gonna comment.
No, the only thing I was gonna say is my philosophy has always been like get a really good. You want to have a good quarterback, or even any sport. You want to have a good player. You have to have a good player. But the other thing is you want to have a good supporting cast. You have to have a good supporting cast. And I think that's one of the things that Brady has figured out is, yes, I'm a good player, but let me get other players to complement what it is that I can do. And I think that has to be the philosophy we see it in basketball. I mean, LeBron, yes, he can win it, but you're now seeing him trying to get other players to complement what he can do. So
he's just got to get people that are under 50. That's the only problem. He's getting people that are in retire, like coming off of walkers. Like,
Carmelo, I was just like, oh boy.
James Harden just took his pay cut, and look at his squad now.
You take a weight cut. All right, well, back to baseball. What were you saying?
What about the Jordan Poole and Draymond fight?
Honestly, man, I'm gonna say it. Draymond slept him. I'm gonna be honest with you. You can't walk up on me. You know what I'm saying? If I wanted to fight you right now, right? I'm gonna shove. You might shove me, but I'm gonna throw my hands up to let you know, hey, this is about to happen. He slept him. I don't respect it. I don't respect it whatsoever.
And the other thing is like Draymond, I feel like it's all like Jordan Poole is on the the come up, and like he's on the decline, and like they really feeling Jordan Poole in Golden State, and he's not one of those guys anymore. He was the big three, now Splash Brothers plus Jordan Poole. So it's like, and he talked a lot of shit because he was like, he feels like he's not relevant anymore.
So I heard someone make the video just so they could get Draymond out.
He's relevant, but here's my problem with that whole situation. Number one, you guys were talking trash back and forth. Got it. It happens. You walk to the other side of the court. Now it's over. People say, well, he was mad. Well, you thought about it because you had enough time to think about it, and you walked over there. And the way you hit that guy, number one, that's not how teammates fight. You hit that guy like he was some guy on the street. Number two, the coach that walked beside him and saw what was about to happen ain't shit, or whatever that guy was. Walking to the right of him. He didn't want no parts of that.
He didn't.
Here's the other thing. It's Jordan Poole. I tell this all the time. People always think they're tough, but we always measure the risk. I used to say back in Miami when I was younger, and I could hear my girlfriend yelling at some dude in the club when I was walking back with the drinks. I was like, please be a little dude. Please be a little dude. And when it was a little dude, I was like, hey, who the hell are you talking to? And then when it was a big old dude, I'm like, hey, baby,
chill out.
Because Zach Randolph told the story about, because KG, Kevin Garnett, talk crap to everybody, right? And he said KG got bumped from behind and said something slick to turn around and saw it was Zach Randolph. He was like, "My bad, dog." Like we measure the risk. We measure the risk because if that was Zach Randolph, Draymond Green wouldn't have scrolled over there.
Yeah, Zach Randolph a hood. He hood, bro. So like, I didn't really know. Yeah. Zach Randolph he from the
Jordan Poole. You punch Jordan Poole.
I want him to. I want Draymond to keep that same energy because like throughout the season, man, you're gonna get trash talked all the time. Like keep that, especially him, man. He has a target on his back anyway.
Hey,
keep that same energy, man. Don't
I like what Shannon Sharp said, DeAndre. He said, "If it was me, we're gonna have to fight every day till I
for
whoop
real,
you.
like for real,
fight every day till I whoop you, or we get traded."
I mean, it looked like he slapped him a little bit, buckled at the knees. Once I come back to conscious, we're gonna have to do this.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to do this.
And he need him on the way down. He need him on the way down too.
We're gonna have to do this every single day. I don't care. Because it's messed up what you did, man.
Well, it's bad when your teammate that has been through all of this with you, Steph Curry, says there's nothing that Jordan Poole said to warrant that response.
Right.
And that's been your boy.
Yeah.
But that's also a good friend. I know this is not sports related. We always talk about good friends. A good friend should be able to tell you when you're wrong.
Absolutely.
And not just side with you because you're their boy.
What about the Zion Williamson? I mean, he's looking dangerous right now.
Yeah, it's preseason.
I was just about to say it's preseason.
Yeah. It's preseason.
He lost some weight. He lost some weight, man. He looked good, man.
He lost weight because Charles Barkley said it looked like him and Shaq had a baby.
I'm not taking anything away from him because Zion is a freaking force to be reckoned with. He really is.
He's a man.
However, it is preseason, and it's a very long season. Regular season is a very long season. So my thing with that is just like, yes, he looks good right now. I would love to see that once the season starts.
Yeah,
that's my thing. I would love to see him play an entire season. That's what I want to see.
And then injuries. Can you stay healthy? What Hermes you say? The best ability is availability.
Right.
Yeah.
Can you stay healthy? That's the thing. I think the weight loss is going to help with the injuries. I'm sorry. It just makes me laugh every time I go on YouTube and I see Zion warming up and Shaq. Shaq look like me and Shaq had a baby over the summer.
That is the funniest thing I've ever, bro. Them boys are crazy, man. Like, that is funny.
Every time. But yeah, it's just stay healthy. You can be as dominant as you want. Hey, you can score 40 points in the preseason, but let's do it in the season. And we know he can do it in the season if he's available. We know he can do it. How
about Rudy Gobert and the Wolves? I mean, I think they're going to be a contender.
It's the Timberwolves.
Man,
they look pretty good last season without Rudy.
They do, but I'm going to steal Lazyboy's line when he talked about the Lions. Yeah, but the Timberwolves seems to, when it's time to do it, they do Timberwolves things.
Yeah. maybe they think they're going to have a Tim Duncan, David Robinson kind of duo.
Oh my God, he's throwing names around again.
Which might it might work, but they're both the same. They're the same players. Like there's really no way. Rudy Gobert doesn't score like Karl Anthony Towns does. So, but they still play defense like about the same. So
I think they'll complement each other pretty well.
I think they will. I don't think they'll go anywhere, to be honest.
They'll win 48 to 53 games and then lose in the first or second round of the playoffs to a team they shouldn't lose to or something. I don't know.
All right. I don't want to ask this question, but Raiders and Chiefs.
Wait, why don't you want to ask that question, Bailey?
I feel like everyone already knows who's going to win this game, but
I think, man, hey, Bailey, man, look, man, hey, the Raiders, man. No, stop.
I don't. Actually, I don't. The Chiefs are not some juggernaut like they've been in the past, where you just circle the Chiefs in every game. I know the Raiders have been stinking it up until last week, but the Chiefs are no guarantee. They've lost to a team that they had no business losing to. So I'm gonna pick the Chiefs, but it's not like Chiefs.
I'm gonna be honest. That's my exact reaction when I see the Chiefs on the schedule I'm picking the Chiefs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's a rivalry. People, you can be undefeated. I mean, you can lose 3 games in a season, and sometimes all 3 of those games were to your division rival. It's just a difference, man. No matter, we've seen divisions where there's a team that's top tier in the NFL, and they lose to the worst team in their division. It's just a thing, man. It's a real thing, and it happens.
The Raiders are the Raiders right now, though. I mean, it's bad.
The Raiders, what?
The Raiders they're just bad.
That's hey, they're not bad on defense. When Derek Carr realizes, hey, this Devontae Adams guy is pretty good, and when the Raiders run the ball, they play well. So don't get so happy with your new toy. Sometimes we can force things, and we try to make sure we get people involved and keep certain people happy. DeAndre said it earlier. Do what you do well, and then take your risks.
Yeah,
You think
man.
Devontae regrets leaving?
No, you seen his checking account? Every time he go to the ATM, he does not regret leaving.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing, though. To me, it's like Derek Carr. And I think Derek Carr is a pretty good quarterback. I really do.
Yeah, he is.
But if it's me, man, this is tough because it's like, oh man, I can go there, I can get some money, but I want to go somewhere where I know every year I have the potential, like a legit chance at making it to the playoffs and winning a Super Bowl.
Well, see, that's the thing. I think he thought both. He didn't think the Raiders was gonna be losing 3 games already in his mind. So great athletes, and this is the way they think. I'm gonna be the difference maker. That's how every great athlete thinks. I'm going to be the piece to get you over the top. That's why they're great. I don't think he foresaw 0-3. Here's the thing. If I'm going to go and lose in the first week of the playoffs or not make the playoffs, I'd rather have the money and not make the playoffs. I mean, I'd rather have the money and not make the playoffs than not have the money and not make the playoffs. Because you know what? When you don't make the playoffs in both scenarios, at least when I got the money, my off season's going to be pretty good.
And then they throw the best friend thing in there. I didn't really know if they were like best friends, David Carr and I was like, what does that have to do? I don't know if they were best friends in college. Who knows? But like
they're trying to tell a story, man.
Yeah, they're trying to they put a story together to make it seem like
a good story, right, DeAndre? Gotta get that marketing story in there.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't think like them two hung out like that. It didn't seem like that to me. But I mean, hey,
I don't know.
DeAndre, you go back to your point. You're making a very great point. And it's different for quarterbacks than everybody else because we only judge because it's the lazy argument. We judge quarterbacks on rings, right? But you can be a defensive lineman, get 1 ring, and be dominant, and you're going in the Hall of Fame. You don't need 4, 3, 4, 5 rings. Same thing with the receiver. So I understand that differently than quarterbacks. But I honestly don't think Devontae didn't go to the Jets. He didn't go to the Texans. He went somewhere where he thought that with Derek Carr and the way the Raiders have looked in the years with Derek Carr, that, hey, I can be the difference maker, and we got it.
Yeah,
him and Waller? Ooh.
100%. I 100% understand that. But if it's me, man, and I'm Devontae Adams, yes, I want to get paid, but in my mind, I'm like, okay, if I stay with Aaron and the Packers, one, I know I'm gonna get my stats up. I know that off the rip. I know I'm gonna get the ball. Secondly, I know we're gonna win because A-Rod is going to get. I know we're gonna win, and I know the percentages is higher for us to win.
Okay, there we go. I'll take that.
I mean, yeah,
I know we're gonna win. It ain't happened yet. So
yeah, I know the percentage is a lot higher for me to win with A-Rod and the Packers, and there's a shot. And I know for the percentage is higher for us to get to the playoffs and to the Super Bowl. If we win a Super Bowl with the Packers, it's going to be a blank check. Somebody is going to pay me a lot of money. I know that.
And you should have been, and your thought process should have been like, should I leave the NFC North to go to a tough AFC West?
No, you know what? Here's another thing that we're not considering, and I know athletes are different, but hey, I'd rather play in Las Vegas in January and
Man,
December.
it don't matter.
No,
If wins and stat stuffing is what you want to think
I'm
about,
just
man,
saying,
I'd
look,
stay north. I'd stay
you
north.
go get tackled on the frozen tundra and then tell me how you feel. Okay.
He wasn't getting tackled though. He wasn't getting tackled a lot. Like he was
I guess it goes to show like how much the league is changing or has changed over the years, because like it used to really just be about championships, like winning. We want to win a Super Bowl. If we're putting this team together, we want to win a Super Bowl. And now it's like you see it with like it's about money. People go where they're gonna get paid.
Well, because also we've all seen the stories of you get out of league and people going broke. Now I know sometimes that's because of bad investments and all those things, but you take a person, everyone who goes in a league didn't get some type of trade or degree where they can open up their own business. All right. And this can go into a whole different story. I'm just kind of spitting out some bullet points. So some people want to have that overwhelming financial stability for them and their family once they get out of the league. They don't know what that looks like. I don't blame them for that. Also, here's another thing. This happens in any job because the NFL is a job now. It's not a game. It's a job. If you're better than the person that you work with, why are they getting paid triple, quadruple what you're getting paid? If you're great, you're going to get the stats. We saw Larry Fitzgerald. Let's take away the couple years of Carson Palmer. Let's take away the 2 years of Kurt Warner. We saw Larry Fitzgerald and the guys that had thrown him the ball. Before Tony Gonzalez got to Matt Ryan, the list of quarterbacks that have thrown him the ball, and they still got it done. You know, Larry Fitzgerald, where he is on the all-time list with the quarterbacks that was throwing to him for 75% of his career. So you're going to get the stats if you're that level. I just think there's a lot of factors, like you were saying, to the part where I agree with you, there's a lot more factors than just let's get the Super Bowl. And you got to remember, that was something that was bred to us when we were younger because the coaches got paid, the organizations got paid, and there's always win one for the Gipper, team spirit, do it for the team, blood, sweat, and tears for us. But what you getting?
Yeah.
That's why I love when free agency came. Why should you be forced to be stuck with a team your entire career and that team is terrible or doesn't appreciate you at the level that you should? And then the NFL, this would help, DeAndre, and everybody's had this conversation. If we get rid of the dang salary cap, I know the implications of some teams are going to be struggling, but then I don't have to leave you to go to some team that I don't want to because I want to get paid because you only got $5 million left. And I want 10, you know?
They should take that ball.
Right. It's the most, and they say, well, you know, it's not, or guarantee the money. How about that? There's so many sports out here where the players are getting paid. You've got guys in the NBA at the end of the bench making more than some stars in the NBA that are household names.
Dude, the MLB should show you that. Like,
yeah.
People are signing 10-year, $300, $400 million deals, and they're going to get every single penny of that.
Yep.
They're going to get every single penny of that. So, like, to me, it's like, let's just see what happens. Shoot. Let's just see what happens. If you got the money, you can go get the players.
All right. Last segment. What we got here?
Next week, we got Bills and Chiefs. Who do we see coming out of the AFC?
I'm going with the Bills, man. I'm rolling with the Bills.
I'm all right. I think these Chiefs they got it going.
I'm going with the Chiefs until I see you do it. It's one of those things, it sounds so cliche. I'm going to pick the person that I've seen do it before until I see you do it.
The Bills look dangerous, though.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So does my cholesterol level, but I'm still here.
Yeah, hey, I'm a little upset, but we got to throw that. Them Niners did take care of them Panthers.
Oh, shut up. Wait. You may be able to do that in this segment coming up called What the F Play of the Week. All right. We got our What the F Play of the Week. What play this week made you say, what the F? Whether it was a good play or whether it was a terrible play. Mine, I'm going to go to the Bengals and I'm going to go to the Baltimore Ravens. These 4th down and 1 decisions are going to put me in the hospital. I'm going to have an aneurysm.
Bro.
I'm going to Cincinnati. You're down by 3. It's 4th and 1. Your defense has not. It's not like Baltimore's been scoring at will. Tie the damn game. Play defense, get the ball back.
Mine's going Commanders. Last play of the game, and you sell. You throw a pick.
Mine. I was actually on location. I was in Charlotte.
Saw that on your Instagram. I tagged the sports show because you didn't.
Even though we were winning, the Panthers go 4th and 1 at their own 1, kick the field goal. They're on their backside of the 4th and 1, and they decide to go for it. And the 49ers scored easily like that. Like they were on the 1 on their side of the field. It didn't make sense to me. I was like, what the hell? Like,
well, they have Matt Rule and their quarterbacks, Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
The one thing that I don't like about some coaches is when you insult our intelligence. Matt Rule is one of those guys trying to use big fancy words and talk about his decision making as if we're all idiots. I hate coaches like that. We're not stupid. Okay, don't insult. Just say terrible call. I've got to do better. Like most coaches that don't even want to say that, they go terrible call, or they go I've got to do better at play calling. Wasn't a great decision. Well, but when you try to insult, either do this, do what I just said that coaches do, or just be Bill Belichick and grumble. Do one or the other, but don't insult.
Dude, I'm gonna say what is it? What the F play of the week?
What the F play of the week?
It's Lamar overthrowing the receiver.
3 of them, bro. Good grief. Bro.
That's the website where it's like, what? Come on, bro. Like,
he almost said
it. When I saw it, I was like, dude, you could have punted it and hang time and just lob it to him. Like, there's nobody around him. Like, how do you overthrow a wide open receiver that much? I can't say I've done it before, so I get it, but it's still like, what the heck, dude? Come on, man.
I don't understand the Ravens. The second half Ravens, it's like the first half Ravens, they go in the locker room and a whole different team comes out. Every game this year. I don't quite understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's not for us to figure out because we don't get paid what Jim Harbaugh gets paid. But if y'all would like to take what y'all, Baltimore organization or any organization out there, if you'd like to take whatever you're paying your coach, they can still keep their job and disseminate that between me, DeAndre, the Lazyboy, and Bailey. We'll give you our input.
I got some things. I did a lot of film. I've done a lot of film in my 42 years, so I've studied a lot of film.
Oh my God! So next week we hope to get some college football in there. I didn't see anything from college football that interested me to talk about. We'll get some of that in there next week. Update you guys on the playoffs. Bailey's going to have more of a commanding role because we love Bailey. He's here doing a great job for us, and we will see you guys on the next one. Bo might be here, or he might just be doing both things. Peter will be back next week. DeAndre and the Lazyboy.
Oh, yeah.
See you guys on What the F Sport. Check us out next Monday, 10 a.m. on KeoniProductions.com. And YouTube.